Hi, my name is Andrew Mason, and my leadership presentation will be on Ryan Robison, the man, the myth, the legend, MRI physicist extraordinaire, and radiology research director at Phoenix Children's Hospital. In my presentation, I will discuss why I chose Ryan to interview about leadership. Then I'm going to present what I learned about leadership through his eyes. And then finally, I'm going to connect what I learned from Ryan to topics that we've covered in class. There are several reasons why I chose Ryan to interview. First, he's a leader that I interact with on a frequent basis. Second, he is a person that I admire due to his status in the hospital. And third, as a follower of his, I really appreciate his leadership style. There are many things that I learned from interviewing Ryan. Many of his answers had overlapping themes, which I found refreshing and indicated a consistent state of views. Due to this, I'll specifically mention some of the questions that offered unique insight while summarizing other similar answers together. To start off with the questions, if there's anything that my immediate work group knows about Ryan is that he is deeply religious in the Mormon faith. And so my first question was how his faith affected his leadership style. He told me that it affected it in a big and profound way. He went on to describe that Jesus' teachings were meant to better his followers and to prop them up, which is something that he tries to do in his role. And in addition to what he learns in church, his congregation has awarded him various positions of leadership where he's been able to grow and learn as a leader. I then asked him what qualities he looked for in a leader and what were a couple of leaders that he looked up to. And he said Jesus, which was in line with his first answer, and then also a professional mentor that he had while working at Phillips. And he said both of these people have the qualities of wanting followers to grow and learn and giving them the tools to do so. And those are things that he said that he looks for in a leader and that he values. My next question was how he handles situations where our immediate group's wants and needs are at odds with the wants and needs of those above him. And he initially answered that he likes to complain a lot, but then he said, joking aside, he uses what he called tactful persistence, which is to continue to fight for the items and values that we care about, but in appropriate manner and times. And so he would read situations and decide when's a good time to bring things up. And then he also said that there's a fair amount of compromise that is needed. And then I was personally interested in what qualities he looked for in a follower. And he said that he valued those that are hardworking, that are self-starters, that are open communicators, and those who are honest. I thought an insightful question to ask him might be to ask what was a time that he felt he failed as a leader and what he learned from it. And he told me that when he was in grad school, he was a team leader, and he said that he delegated tasks incorrectly. He delegated tasks that did not play to the strengths of his team members, and then he micromanaged them, which both caused the projects to fall apart. And those are items that he said that he's learned from, and he tries to not let happen again in his role as a leader. And then I had the final questions I had really tie into concepts that we've learned in our class. And without him knowing many of the terms and concepts in our class, he basically described them perfectly. And so one of the questions I had was, what was the difference in his eyes between the leadership style of the executive leadership and then of division chiefs and lower? And what he basically described was executive leadership uses legitimate power, where they say, this is my decision, this is how it's going to go, and that's final. Whereas division chiefs and lower have more of a reference style, where they try to encourage and excite those under them and to try and be leaders that they look up to and want to emulate. And so I thought that was pretty in line with what we've learned, and I also agree with his assessment. And then my final question for him was, how would he describe his own leadership style? And then he went on to basically describe a democratic leadership style.